now we have an empty file, so let's create a class vehicle, and we have to make its constructor as well. And obviously the vehicle has some characteristics: name, color, make and model. And let's initialize these characteristics. Color and model. And let's create another class which is car, and make the vehicle class as parent by simply writing the parent class name into the parameters here like this. And we have to initialize its constructor as well, so def and obviously we have to use the above characteristics, so I have to mention all those the parents characteristics here: name, color, model. And here I am adding a new attribute here, let's say the fuel capacity, the fuel tank. So obviously each vehicle has a fuel tank, so I could also add this attribute into previous parent class as well, but just for the sake of an example, let's just add this attribute into the car class only. Now we have to initialize the fuel tank first because it's not been initialized before. We don't need to initialize the other characters. This is the point I'm trying to make here, that we don't need to define again the name, color and model, because we are inheriting those characteristics from the parent class, and these characteristics are already being defined there. So let's make another function, display info. So print the vehicle, and here we'll write the self.name, but it will give the error because we can't use the character or attribute of the parent class unless we call the super call, or we call the constructor of parent class inside the child class. Yes, we can call the function of the parent class like we did in the previous example. Let's say I have the method def display info, and print parent class. Okay, so yes, I can let's just comment this and just quickly create an object of car. Let's say we have Lamborghini. I'm not sure about the spelling, but let's just write its color, model and capacity. C.display info. So we can C.display info. So we can call the method of the parent class by just inheriting here, but we cannot use the parameters like I want to print the self.name, so let's see it prints or not. So yeah, it will give the error because okay, so let me write it display info. Okay, so it gave us the error because self.name, the car object, has no attribute name. So obviously we have to import those attributes from the parent class, and we can do this by simply adding the super call. So we can this is the syntax, like we can use the above attributes mentioned in the parent class: super, init, name, color and model. So now we can use them like print model self.model, and obviously the print color and last but not the least fuel capacity. So let's print this. Okay, so basically the vehicle is Lamborghini and the model, color and fuel capacity, and you can see that we didn't define the name, color and model again. We just created an object of the car, and car uses the properties of the vehicle class, which is our base class. We can also call it parent class. So the name, color and model has been defined there, and we just gave the values of the name, color, model and the fuel tank at the end. And the alternative of the supercar, we can also write. Let's just first comment it. The alternate way of first write the class name, which is vehicle dot init and self, and the name of attributes, name, color, model. So now it should work. Okay, so it worked. So there are two alternatives. We can also call a super. We can also write the name of the parent class. So this is how we can use the attributes of parent class inside the child class. So let's make another example, which is the person class, and let's just create an constructor, and let's just give one parameter name, and create a method which will return as the name. So this type of method is also called a getter because we are getting the name from here. So return self.name, and another method for checking this person is an employee or not. Yes, this is a simple person, not an employee, because we are going to create another class of employee, and the person as a parent class. So employee is a child class here, and the person is a parent class here. So the attributes or properties of person class has been inherited into the employee class now. So here we don't need to call a constructor because we have only one attribute, name. The employee class has no attribute of its own. It will simply use the name. So we don't need to make a constructor because we don't need to define the only parameter we have, the name, because it is already been defined in the person class. So in case if we want to have some other characteristics as well, let's say I want to add name, name other than the name, let's say id. Yes, I can have, I have to make the constructor then, but let's just not make the constructor and simply use the name characteristic, name as a character. Let's create a method is employee and return true. So here I will create a method, I will create an object of person class, and I will write, let's say Harry, an object of a person class, and here I will call the get name function of person, and we'll check whether it is an employee or not. And also I have to create another object which is of employee, and here let's say I write Charlie, and now same goes with employee print. Yes, here I am calling the function of the parent class. I don't have the get name in the employee class, but yes, due to inheritance I can call the method from the parent class as well. That's what I'm doing here. And emp dot is employee, whether it is an employee or not, this function is also inside the employee class. We can have the same names of the function in different classes. So that's basically method overriding, which we'll be exploring in the next lecture. So let's just run this program. Okay, so basically we created the person object and we checked whether it is an employee or not. So yes, Harry is not employee because Harry is false, and we call the person's get name, so obviously we got the Harry, and then Charlie. Obviously it is an employee because we created an object of the employee, and here obviously it will go inside this function and it will return the 2. So this is how we can perform the simple inheritance, and you know, the same methods is employee and is employee. We can see this method with the same name but different implementation. One method is giving the false and another method is giving it true. So this is method overriding, but this is not the subject right now. We will be exploring the what is method overriding, overloading in the next few lectures. So this is just the simple inheritance, and let's meet into the next lecture.